Hey guys, Cameron with CBM Reviews here, and it's that time of the year when most movie review sites and YouTube channels give their top 10 movies of the year. You'll also see some award shows like the Golden Globes and the Oscars give their highest accolades with the runners-up sprinkled all around. At least when dealing with the YouTube variety highlights, I've been noticing a trend. And it's not something bad or even malicious, but it's a noticeable absence. The question is, where's Black Panther? Before I jump into this video essay, if you're a fan of this kind of thing, or even comic book movie reviews, comic book TV reviews, or even Comic-Con footage, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you want to know as soon as I post a video, go ahead and ring that notification bell. That way you know every single time I post a video. As far as this video is concerned, I'm not insinuating that Black Panther should be on everybody's list or that it should be the beacon that everyone should be looking at from below. What I am saying is that it was a cultural phenomenon that you don't get the likes of every year. This particular phenomenon catered to two particularly different audiences, the Black audience and the comic book audience. This movie, to those in the comic book audience, was a treat involving a story that doesn't get told often in this genre. In most superhero circles, you're dealing with vigilantes and crusaders, not necessarily kings and regents. So, for this movie to come out and have a different setting as well as a sociological makeup was refreshing. Then you have the Black audience, which exhibited a completely different type of celebration. There were legitimate celebrations of blackness and ethnicity. There were theater showings where we would come out in full African garb. We packed the theaters for this Black movie depicting us as kings, queens, geniuses, and warriors as opposed to the normal Black fare of gangsters, hoodlums, drug addicts, and criminals. Then the movie took the show on the road, going to different theaters in Africa. It was met with something akin to a homecoming celebration. There were galas celebrating the cinematic introduction to African royalty, and the joy spread across the globe. Saudi Arabia, a place that had no previous movie theaters, opened one just last year, and the premiere showing just so happened to feature a little country called Wakanda. So what does this tell us? And more importantly, what does it mean? It tells us that there is still a market for stories in which other ethnicities are prominently featured. There was nothing absolutely groundbreaking about Black Panther from a story perspective, but because it was an African story, it resonated with us that haven't seen that type of story told in our particular light. The Last King of Scotland, The Lion King, and Coming to America all feature African rulers, one being a dramatic true story where the president is the antagonist, the second being a family-friendly animated feature, and the third being a laugh-out-loud comedy. This brings us to where we are now, and even though it seems like it came out forever ago, it was less than a year. Black Panther came out just last year, and it seems to have been overshadowed by another story found in the same cinematic universe, which actually features some of the same characters. However, the story, from which I'm not taking anything away, has been the darling that has been featured on more top 10 lists than the former. And that brings me to the second half of the previous question. What does that mean? It means this. Movies are subjective. They can mean many different things to many different people. To some, it could be a fun little romp in an imaginative country. To others, it could mean a new cultural phenomenon in which there are characters that look like them and are shown in a positive light. To some, it could be a story that we've seen before with not so great CGI, so it's overrated. To others, it's a story that we've never seen with this particular type of cast, with this particular type of budget, and with this particular level of hype. Perhaps what was an okay movie for some was an inspirational movie for others. And just because you didn't love it as much as the next person, that's okay. I originally thought of this idea because some of the channels that I follow had their top 10 lists and Black Panther was not listed even as an honorable mention, even with the high praise that they received when it was first released. And after I thought about it, I realized that's fine. No movie is the same thing to everybody. Everybody will take something different with them after a viewing, whether good or bad. It's not our jobs as reviewers to dictate what somebody else should feel, but to give our own personal experience on how we felt. And hopefully we can put our own feelings aside if someone else didn't love something that we ourselves put on a pedestal. The best we can do is say how we feel, accept anything different for what it is, a different opinion, and continue to support the things that we love. That's just my opinion on how I still believe Black Panther is relevant, but you guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Share this video with all your friends, and as always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. We'll see you next time.